By the way, if you want another shot, just let me know.
Okay, I'll take one more.
Okay.
All right, so that was interesting. Does that stay in the podcast? 1, 2, 3.
Aljamain Sterling, thank you for joining us on this very happy Monday, even though it'll be released on a Tuesday. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, so should we?
We should.
And move to one more thing. The Bantamweight Champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. I might need a bib.
Ooh, it's strong.
And the Funk Master. Love the T-shirt.
Thank you. You know, I made it myself. No, I didn't, but designed it.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you. And this is, so like David just said, you've been on the Schmozone 3 times already. This is the first time in our new studio.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Yeah.
It's a really nice place. Who was the other guest I'm tied with?
Sean O'Malley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good company.
I think so. I would definitely think so.
Me too.
2 of some of the most exciting players in the bantamweight division, 100%.
Yep.
So speaking of, where do we even start? Do we start with the shirt you're wearing? Do we start with where we were yesterday?
Which I guess goes hand in hand. I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan. If the shirt doesn't get away. And also Halloween festive. It's October.
Yeah.
So we were at the Bears game yesterday. They beat the Raiders, who start off at 3-0. Now they've lost their second straight. And unfortunately, as we found out as we were driving over here today, it was head coach John Gruden's last professional football game, likely ever as a head coach. All these emails were leaked, and he was in this 4th year of a 10-year, $100 million contract, and he had to resign today.
So is that like $100 million spread across the 10 years?
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Dang, that sucks. That's a lot of money to kind of burn.
Well, what surprises me is just like, from 10 years ago? I'm like, who's leaking this stuff? Maybe that's a dumb question.
Blackmail.
Well, it's like they're doing this investigation on the Washington football team.
Okay.
And I guess this information was what I dropped. I dropped stuff out of my
Your
pocket.
cell phone.
Always these pants. I always wear these pants where all my stuff drops out.
I told you to donate them, but it's okay.
It's probably going to happen after the show. All that stuff out. But basically, how many other people do you think they could be talking about from those emails aside from John Gruden?
Whoever doesn't act right, if they don't get in line, those emails are getting leaked. That's what I really do think. I think things are so different these days with social media and people wanting to, like you said, cancel everybody. It's like if you don't follow suit, then they're going to take you down one way or the other.
And it doesn't matter who you are. Like, they just, why John Gruden right now? Because you said they're investigating and then...
Well, he's a high-profile person, and they're doing an investigation, and his name came up, and I don't know. I didn't read much further into it than that. It's just an interesting time to be alive, and it's just obviously what he said is atrocious in those emails. I'm just wondering to how that all came about.
I got to read them. I will say I almost feel like it's almost like a race to see who can out the other person first, just in case it's like, hey, man, it's either this guy or me or this girl or me, that kind of thing for their position or something like that. And like, sorry, you got to go. So I feel like almost all those guys have to be in bed with each other knowing what's going on. And it's locker room talk. I feel like everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah, I was kind of saying that to you in the car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of locker room talk, and, it's an interesting time to be alive.
Yeah, even though what was said, though, was disgusting.
Yeah. But it's interesting. Anyways, today's also a loaded day for other reasons, too.
Yeah, well, it was also just announced, I guess Luke Rockhold just posted on his Instagram that he's out of UFC 268 because of a herniated disc.
I know all about that. It's not fun. So I can only imagine what he's going through in dealing with that type of injury. Sounds like something probably he was dealing with for a while, because it doesn't just happen like overnight. But he's wrestled in, I believe, high school, maybe college, and He does a lot of jiu-jitsu, which is a lot of guillotines and things like that. So it could have just been the extent of his career. He's older now, I think 35, 36. So I think it's just part of the game. One of those things, kind of crappy, bad timing. But man, sometimes you just never know when your body's gonna just give up on you.
But you're in the gym, or have you been in the gym when Sean Strickland's been in there? Because I know he's kind of bouncing around between Syndicate and Extreme Couture.
Have I been in the gym? Yes.
Like, have you seen him recently? Just because I'm curious to know, like, how's he gonna handle the news?
Probably gonna go find him. I don't know. he's a interesting cat, Sean Strickland. Very interesting individual, but good fighter. Talks a big game, but he could back it up. And I don't know what's going through his head right now. I would think he's probably thinking, I'm going to find this motherfucker. I want to fight him.
Yeah.
I need answers.
It's crazy. But going back to what you said about been there, done that, injuries. Speaking of injuries, man, you are recovering from an injury.
Yep.
And that injury prevented from what a lot of people thought would be in Abu Dhabi, UFC 267, you and Peter Yan. Obviously, it didn't happen. I've been curious about, so how the situation all unfolded. Like, you're given this timeline, this date. You had told me before that you didn't expect to fight that early, I believe.
Yeah.
And, you wanted to do it. You were willing to do it. But at the end of the day, you weren't medically cleared. I was just hoping you can kind of shed some light to what actually went on, because there's some confusion there.
There seems to be a lot of confusion, which people would make it sound like I stubbed my toe. I didn't stub my toe. I didn't twist my ankle. I had a neck surgery, which is a very serious thing. It controls a lot of your body parts. It's the spinal column, which controls everything. So the doctor cleared me for November 1st to start a training camp to take a fight. That's the wording he gave me. And I guess they figured that maybe I could try to push the envelope, which I agreed to do, because I was like, I don't know if I'm in a position to say no. Let me get the time that I asked for in December. And the October date was there, and I was just going to try to do what I can do. But as we went through the training camp, I had a very difficult time getting it together, trying to string together 3 rounds. I mean, I was sparring with Merab. He couldn't wait for me to get back so that we could train together, because not to say it in a weird way, but we're kind of like the 2 big fish in the pond right now at the gym. We have a very small team, so we're kind of the 2 head honchos there when it comes to like name value and things that we've done and accomplished. So Merab's like the golden rubric of where you want to be when it comes to working hard, cardio, just tenacity, just one of those guys, all around good person, inside and outside the octagon. So I came back and I wanted to make sure I gave him some work, and I was thinking that I would fight right after that. I was like, of course, if I'm going with Merab, I would be able to get into good shape, and sure enough, that did not happen. So we went through week after week, and I'm grinding, because I left Nevada early to go back to New York to start training camp after I heard that I was fighting in Abu Dhabi. I was like, okay, great. So I need to take my ass back to New York so I could start training camp. So that's what I did. I cut my PT short. And we trained. I trained my ass off, and I just wasn't getting any results of what I wanted. I mean, talk about doing all those rounds, strength and conditioning work, early mornings, and then going into sparring sessions, and after one round of grappling and throwing strikes and your arms are just super heavy, I'm like, I feel like I'm in the Peter Yan fight all over again. That's exactly what it felt like. I was like, I feel like I'm living a nightmare that just won't end. It just felt like it was just crazy. So I told my roommates at the house after the last sparring session that I had with Merab, I think it was the week before his fight, and I told the guys, I was like, listen, man, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't think I could pull out this fight, because it just feels like if I do, I'm going to get a lot of shit. I don't know if and this is my personal opinion, what I'm thinking, I don't know if the UFC would be happy. So I'm like, I know it sucks. It's a big fight. They want to get the division moving. It's a hot division. So all these things I'm thinking about, and they're like, why would you do that? I was like, I think I'm just going to go in there. I'm just going to wing it. I think I know what he could do. I think I just got to be smart. And I think if I can catch him with one of those flying knees again, I think this time I can end the fight. And that's honestly what I said to my roommates. And they're like, dude, that's crazy. Why would you ever want to put yourself in that position? I'm like, I almost feel like I have no choice. So thankfully, we went to the doctor. I spoke to my manager, spoke to the coaches, And you can ask the coaches, man, that was the most down I've been in a very long time. Super depressed, because that's how much this sport means to me. Just like how much I've been able to provide and how much I love it, and just I like competing, and to not be able to do those things and feeling like you're going to get hurt. I was like, man, I feel like I'm gambling my quality of life all in one fight to try to make the fans happy when I know I'm doing the wrong thing. So it was a really complex and difficult situation, but I think all in all I made the right decision for the longevity of my health.
When you first made that decision and let the UFC know, what was their immediate reaction to it?
Trying to think back. I told my manager, well, when I came out to Vegas for Merab's fight, and I came a little early, so I saw my matchmaker, Shelby, and then he's like, I guess he heard about the interview I did with Ariel, and he was like, dude, what's going on? Are you okay? And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I'm gonna fight though, and I just told him straight like that. I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna fight. That's pretty much. I was like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna fight, and that was kind of where that left off. And I tried to push it because I had about 8 weeks from that exact time we met. I had about 8 weeks, and then I came back, and I spoke to my manager. They spoke to them, and they flew me out. I went to the doctor again, LA, and he said the same thing I said. He said, this injury takes 12 months to 18 months for the nerves to actually heal. So it's not even about the surgery itself. The procedure, that's a 3-month recovery. So I recovered. I'm good to go. I'm strong. I feel good. I feel like this is the best physical shape I've looked like in a very long time. No pain in my neck, no residual pain, like waking up, sleeping, driving, all that stuff, training. The part that sucks is the endurance side, and you need those connective tissues, those nerves, just from a neurological standpoint to kind of reconnect, because it's almost like they're still severed and they're still trying to do what they're trying to do and heal up, you know. So it's a weird, complex situation where you just don't know what's going on in there. So I'm hopeful because things are getting better, especially after I brought that kid out, Adrian Yanez. We got some good quality work in, and that uplifted my spirits because, man, when I say I was down, like, I was not fun to be around. Like, Ray was like, dude, I haven't seen you smile in God knows how long. I was like, I'm not happy. Like, I'm getting my ass kicked in training. Like, I know Merab's good, but we battle. It's never that one-sided. And he was like, yeah, well, you know, he's peaking. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but even when he's peaking in the past, it's never been this one-sided. There's clearly something going on, and here we are.
Well, that's a hell of a story, and I appreciate you revealing all of that. It's interesting dynamic, too, but while this is going on, Merab, your teammate, I know how close you guys are. He's having such great success.
Killing it. Yeah.
That last fight was unreal.
Against Marlon. Yeah.
That Marlon, the beating he took in that first round and what he endured to come back and to just dominate the remainder of the fight, the cardio, the condition, like...
And the heart, man.
And the heart.
Crazy. You can't teach that.
You can't teach that at all. It's like, you know, when you come back, it's going to be a real situation where he is right there in the thick of things. I mean, let's be real, man. You have the gold. He only wins. If he only wins, he's going to be right there in the conversation. What are you going to do?
I could never fight Merab. I've thought about it in the sense of like, what would that even feel like? What would that even look like? And I'm like, I can never like visualize myself standing. Like, I can see this with everybody else, but I could never envision Merab standing across the octagon, one of these refs saying, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Fight!" Like, I think at that point things change dramatically in terms of a relationship. You saw that with Usman and Gilbert Burns. Did I say that right? Yeah, Gilbert Burns. Yeah. I think it changes everything. It changes the relationship. I mean, he's helped me do so much. I've helped him do so much. I just could never see myself competing against a guy like that.
It reminds me of when Gilbert Burns told you how he would never fight Vicente Luque.
And also, on that note, Merab told me in an interview before he would go down to 125 before fighting you.
Yeah, we've talked about it. And we're not there yet, so we kind of just like, you know, kick it down the road. Merab's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. And who knows? I could lose my next fight, and then Merab could win his next 2, and then he could be the one in the spot that I'm in now. Like, things happen. Like, it's part of the sport. I've been here. He's going to get his opportunity, and whether it's at 35 or 25. And for me, I think he wants to fight till he's 60 years old. So I don't want to fight forever. You know, I know there's a point where my best days are going to be behind me. I'm cutting the weight all the way down from 170 at times, trying to, when I'm out of fight camp and I'm not training. It gets daunting. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm tired of it, but that's the one part of the process I do not miss at all. And when it's all said and done, it's going to be like a bittersweet moment. But I would even entertain going up to 45. You know, if it came down to it. If it came down to, like, I'm having a tough run at 35 and he's killing at 35 and...
Who's he?
Merab.
Oh, Merab. Okay.
And we're at different points in our career, and it's like, maybe I need to change things up. You see that all the time. Then maybe I go up a weight class. And I think I got too much of the weight, but I think I got a decent frame for it, and I think I'm strong enough to go there. I think I actually lose a lot when I get down to 135. Like, when I'm outside of fight camp, any of these bantamweights, I feel like we tango, and it's almost night and day how much stronger I am. But when I get down, I think it's for everybody. It's normal. You lose a lot of muscle. Right now, I'm probably like 5, maybe 6% body fat, and I'm walking this morning. I was 161, you know, so I'm like trying to keep my weight down so that I can have a good, just revamping of my training camp or my conditioning, so to speak, for lack of better words.
Well, what do you make of the situation where they said they're going to make the interim title fight between Pewter and Corey Sandhagen, who I know David spoke to last week?
Sandhagen?
I did.
Piotr.
I haven't talked to Chito. I talked to Sandhagen. We were in Denver last week. Saw him at the gym.
Oh, yeah, the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah. Well, that's Chicago.
Yeah.
Completely different place.
Well, hey, it's still cold.
Close enough.
Close enough. Close enough for sure.
But were you surprised?
He said he would have even been okay if they offered it to Rob Font.
Who said that? Sandhagen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he told David, or the Schmo, in his interview.
He didn't tell me. He told the Schmo.
He told the Schmo that he would have been okay if Rob
He
Font
would
got the
understand.
fight.
Well, Rob Font's coming off a win. Corey
he beat-
Sandhagen's coming off a loss.
True, but he beat Cody Garbrandt. I'm not saying Cody's not good, so you know I know the people are going to talk shit.
It's a former champion.
Yeah, but I mean, when was his last win? The throwing a haymaker from his socks over Rafael.
That was a great knockout.
It was, but it's like, in terms of name value, yes, you could say that, but in terms of what Sandhagen did against TJ, arguably he won that fight. So I would never bow out and say that I can understand him saying I can understand, but I would never agree to be like, yeah, that guy should get it over me. Fuck that.
What did
you earned that shit?
Or what did TJ say? That
Oh yeah, he said too that he believes he's next for a title shot.
He is.
Well, that just makes the whole thing
It's
really
so crazy.
interesting right now. Yeah.
is there a chance that you fight TJ Dillashaw before you fight
Yeah,
Pewter
how is
Yan
that
and
gonna
or Aljamain Sterling or Corey Sandhagen?
This whole thing is a zoo, man. But that's what you get when you have such a great hot division.
It's amazing.
And obviously, we got the logjam created by Piotr Jan. So, guys, remember, it wasn't
you
me who created
pronounce-
this. Piotr.
You pronounced his name great.
Yeah. When I want to be nice. Otherwise, I call him Chito. You know, but or cheater.
What do they call you?
Clown.
With the emoji.
Clown. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But TJ comes back in March. I think that's when he can start training. I think he said this November, maybe December, he could start training again, like hard. So he'll be ready for possibly March. I don't think it's hard training. I think it's contact. So he won't be ready till like March or so.
To have a fight.
Do you think he might have to wait a little bit?
What about you? Like, when do you think you'll be back?
I don't know.
Well, that's my thought. Is there a chance that your next fight is actually going to be against TJ Dillashaw?
I mean, that would be a chaotic world because then it's like, why did these guys even fight for an interim title? Because they're going to pay more money to the champ. You know what I mean? When you fight for the interim title, you win more money. You get championship pay. And then you get pay-per-view points. You get treated as the champ because, God forbid, anything happens to the champ, they strip them or they get injured for too long, whatever. That guy now gets paid the same way the champ will get paid. Maybe a little different of a pay scale. in terms of how many pay-per-view buys they actually sell, but it's technically all the same generic contract standard for everybody. So for the people who think that they understand how much you get paid, once you're in a contract, you're in a contract. That's it. Even no matter how big your name gets, you can have a spectacular knockout. If your next fight is for 20 and 20, you're getting paid 20 and 20, no matter how much your viewership went up. So you have to understand the game that you're playing. That's why I like O'Malley too, because he's smart. He understands all of that. And he knows, like, why am I going to fight these big-name guys, get paid the same amount of money, when I could fight these, I won't call nobody a tomato can, but I could fight no-name guys, because everyone works hard, and keep racking up highlight real wins and look spectacular.
I like his next matchup.
I forget who he's fighting. Wait, I know this one.
Paiva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just fought his teammate, right?
Kyler
Yeah.
Phillips, the Matrix.
He lost because he got tired. Phillips.
I believe so.
Yeah.
This is a great test. I know it's not the traditional wrestler by any means whatsoever. It's going to be a striking matchup, but
Test for who?
O'Malley. O'Malley.
Really?
Put you on the spot.
Paiva hits hard, but don't get me wrong. The guy was as hittable as you could possibly be. I mean, if I was O'Malley, I would love that matchup.
Right.
That's my opinion.
I'm just saying it's going to be exciting for the fans.
Yeah, because they're going to get another highlight reel knockout.
Well, hey, at least we're the first to get his prediction. Come on.
If Aljamain could
He's
play.
tough, though. He is tough.
That's
no
the point. He's going
to
get tested.
But
he's tough.
Kyler Phillips had him looking ridiculous out there. If he didn't get tired, that fight was over in the first round. It should have been over in the first round.
Yeah, but what's it say about his gas tank?
Phillips. That's just, yeah. You can't.
Paiva.
Yeah. No, well, toughness, his gas tank was just as bad. He was just a little bit better, in my opinion, in that fight. I mean, he got hurt really bad in that first round. I think it was a 10-8.
All right.
We were there, too.
It should have been a 10-8. I think they gave it a 10-9. I think that's what actually happened. Yeah, ridiculous fight. But it's all good, man. O'Malley's doing his thing. He's making his money, building his name up.
Building his brand.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. You get to the UFC, brand awareness, get the people to get behind you, and talk your shit when you got to talk your shit.
Then we have Rob Font. He's fighting Jose Aldo.
That's a sick fight.
Yeah.
I love
I'm
that
excited.
fight. And what I think about that fight is Jose Aldo looks like he has turned back the clock. He looks like Aldo of old. Super fast hands. His fast twitch muscles are ridiculous. And
it's good weight for him, too.
Yeah, he puts the combinations together better than anybody I know at that division. I'm not striking like that. That's a dangerous guy. The only thing that you have to hope for is 5-round Aldo gets tired. 3-round Aldo is a nightmare to fight. So if I'm fighting Aldo, I need 5-round Aldo because I feel like I have a much better chance beating that guy than I do with a 3-round fight Aldo. So I think Font's a little slower, but he hits hard. He has big hands. That guy has big freaking hands for a bantamweight. Kind of reminds me of John Lineker. And I think that's why he used to knock guys out like that, because his hands were just control. They're pretty much 2 fists on your head, So, and I don't have the biggest head, so I don't want to get hit by those guys, And I think he has the endurance, but I think the grappling is going to be some problems. I hope it's a 5-round fight. That should be a 5-round fight, because I think whoever wins is going to be the next guy of the next guy of the next guy.
Such a deep division.
I know.
It's crazy.
Because
and then you got Frankie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frankie's fighting Chito.
And Chito, even though he's been talking a lot of shit about me because I criticized how he won, I didn't even say anything bad about the guy. He got his butt hurt. I was like, dude, I'm just saying that was a weird situation. Not saying that you didn't check the kick, but sometimes that shit happens. Like, don't make it sound like that was impossible for that to have happen. Don't be mad at me because I'm telling the truth. But he's been looking really good of late, and his last fight with Davey Grant was fun to watch. He's dangerous with those elbows, and I think Frankie, at his age, that's a tough fight for Frankie. He's going to have to be on that bicycle the entire time, but we saw him against Pedro Munoz, a much smaller guy who fought Jose Aldo, and you saw how one-sided that was. You can't do MMA math, but Chito's younger, he's tougher, he's a bigger frame, he's got long kicks, and those elbows he throws, and he's good on the ground.
Well, someone that we mentioned earlier about Merab, has he told you someone he would like to fight next, or who do you think makes sense for him to fight next?
He's in a weird spot. I remember being in that spot. It was like, well, I just got to sit here and wait because there's really no one else to fight unless you want to fight down. And sometimes the UFC doesn't even allow you to do that, because I tried to do that multiple times. They're like, nah, Nah, you're just gonna have to wait. And I was like, all right. But man, I don't know. I mean, he's fought Stamen already. Chito's got to fight Aldo. That whole top 10 already, I think, is already pretty.
So he
locked
does,
up.
kind of have to wait.
Yeah, I mean, Font, Piotr. Yeah, everyone's booked up in that situation already.
It's crazy. I'd say if
know, a
TJ
lot of good
Dillashaw didn't
fights.
have a title fight, Merab would be an interesting fight.
Yeah, but then that puts me in a very shitty spot.
I know. Okay.
on.
Very shitty.
No. It's all in good fun, man.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time, man. It's an exciting time
Yeah.
to be alive.
It's I love it because it's one of those things where it's like, how often do you get two of the best guys in the world in one gym under one roof?
It's true.
It doesn't happen very often. And I try to tell people that. I'm like, Merab may not be the most technical guy, but he works his ass off. And like you saw, he's willing to die in there. He's just like, dude, I'll take anything you give me, and I'm going to keep coming forward. And that's a fighter's fighter, you know? So he's very proud, very humble, and the guy, he's a dog. He's a dog out there.
For sure.
Our sparring sessions we should be charging admission to all the guys that get to watch us at the gym. We should be charging admission because it's always a show.
If you need a finance guy or security to handle that, I'm your guy.
Well, what about Al? He's making his return.
Yeah.
Against Bobby Green. That's going to be a fun fight.
That should
Can't
be
wait.
really good.
Yeah.
I think Bobby's gotten a lot better, and obviously Al hasn't fought in a while, and he's coming off a couple losses, so he's in a tough spot. But I could tell that he still wants to fight. He misses it so much when he's in the gym. You could tell like he wants to be able to do everything the way he used to do it when we were younger and coming up together. But injuries are part of the game, and sometimes they cut some people's career. I don't want to say cut his career short, but they took away a lot of time, valuable time from him with the injuries, with the surgeries, with the standoffs with the UFC, and trying to get the right surgeon to do the procedure. So there's been a lot that has been happening for him throughout his career, from the tough show and everything. So he's in a weird spot, but like I said, Bobby's gotten so much better. So I think this is a really good fight for both guys, like competitive. It's going to be a fun fight no matter what. I think if Al fights smart, uses all his tools like he has in the past, I think of late you could tell that he's kind of fell in love with the striking, with the Cerrone fight, with the Hooker fight. And then the one time he tried to shoot one on Dan, he kind of got stuck down there. And I think that this is just my opinion from the outside looking in, and I could be completely wrong. It's just, I think maybe it's just him not being able to practice wrestling the way he used to. Maybe put him a little bit slower in terms of his transitions, where when he gets into that leg, he finishes quickly rather than kind of getting there and giving him an opportunity to set up those elbows, which kind of changed the fight after that first round. So this is such an intricate sport and such a detailed sport that people don't really understand. Like, one little thing could change the entire course of the entire fight.
That's a great way to segue to, speaking of the weekend, historic trilogy fight.
Oh,
Deontay
crazy.
Wilder,
Yeah, oh my
Tyson
gosh.
Fury. We were there for that, and it was probably the best fight I've ever seen in person.
Yeah.
Helen and I feel like we were a part of history, and it was amazing to see. I think Deontay Wilder in the fourth round knocked him down twice in one round. And all in all, 5 knockdowns. I think Deontay was knocked down from Tyson 3 times before the knockout.
Yeah.
And it was a hell of a fight, man.
Yeah.
What else could you ask for in a world championship fight at the heavyweight division? Two guys that kind of got some bad blood, and I think it just makes for a great storyline. And like you said, I think we were all a part of history. And that was I can't remember the last time I actually been to a boxing fight. I think it might have been at the
You were there
Barclays Center.
too?
Yeah, I was there.
Awesome.
And just the atmosphere and the environment was super surreal to be in. And I feel like everyone was so dialed in. I sat with the Alabama crowd. Deontay Wilder's from Alabama.
Yeah.
And they would not shut the fuck up. It was like, dude, I get it. There was like a Fury supporter. And they went a little back and forth, but he kind of tucked his tail when he saw how many of those Alabama boys are right there. And it was like, Alabama in his hoe. Alabama in his hoe. And then they said, yeah, I respect. He was like, no, don't switch sides now. It was funny, but a little annoying at some points because they became the coach, they became the fighter, all in the same breath. I'm like, oh, you guys know it all. You guys done this, I guess. It was one of those type of situations, but great fight. Had everything you needed from the drama of both sides. Super competitive, and I think no matter what, however you want to see Deontay, in my book, he redeemed himself. He had that tough fight the second time, and He gave a much better display of boxing. I do think and I'm not a boxer, but some of the things you could tell was just so much different in terms of technical superiority from Fury's standpoint and from Deontay. But that right hand is the ultimate
equalizer. Yeah, and obviously, I think for sure that Tyson Fury proved he was the better boxer. The only thing that upsets me in some sort of way about
that
Deontay.
dad bod? Don't tell me it's that dad bod.
No.
Yeah, because David got worried when Tyson wasn't going to take off his shirt for the weigh-in. I know you wanted to see the dad bod.
Well, yeah. I mean, he didn't take off his shirt at the weigh-ins or anything. 277. I want to see that. Deontay Wilder was 238. They were both at their heaviest.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Just want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by NordVPN. NordVPN, it helps you stream MMA content so much easier across all different platforms. You have to check this out. Just imagine the situation. You're in a different country. You have, let's say, an ESPN subscription, ESPN Plus. You need to watch the UFC fights. And unfortunately, in your region, it's blocked with the Wi-Fi. You hop on NordVPN. You can access where your location is in a different country. And you can stream this thing easily and not miss any of the action. So you want to go to this link right now. It's nordvpn.com/schmo. Check it out. It's going to help you save some money on a VPN, which helps you change your virtual location and watch your favorite MMA content anywhere in your region. Doesn't matter if it's blocked in that region where you are in the world. Watch it where you want to watch it, and you won't be disappointed. Promo code Schmo. Check it out.
You were talking about Tyson Fury's dad bod?
Yeah, on the scale, 277.
They were the heaviest.
They were the heaviest. But I just didn't like that Deontay Wilder didn't shake his hand at the end. Yeah.
Well, he was a little. That guy was rattled. Concussed.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to see the sportsmanship to end such a great trilogy, but I'm not mad in the sense that I think they'll eventually make up. Yeah. I think it's going to be cool. I love both of them. They're both two of my favorite interviews of all time. They're both great humans. I enjoy them, and I think that it's a shame that people in America didn't recognize Deontay Wilder more for what he's done. He's the ultimate knockout artist of all time. Yeah. Greater than Mike Tyson in terms of knockout artists, in my opinion.
You think so?
Well, in terms of just
devastation, maybe. I mean, they were both pretty devastating, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Or in this era.
In this era, I can't say. You know what? I can't speak for Mike Tyson's era. You're right. You're right. I have to differentiate.
Yeah. It's just a different time.
It's the same. It's the same way I can respect the argument when people start bringing up LeBron James, greatest of all time, to Michael Jordan, because I grew up Michael Jordan only. Michael Jordan was the greatest of all time. But if I have to sit here and listen to LeBron James arguments, then I can listen to a Deontay Wilder, to Mike Tyson in terms of knockout artists.
Yeah.
In terms of knockout artists, not in terms of boxers all time, but knockout artists.
I think if Tyson and Deontay were in their prime and they fought, I feel like Tyson wins.
And what's the prime? 1985, 1990? What's the year?
I'm gonna say when he was what? I know he won the world title at 19. No, not 19. He fought for a world title at 19.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm gonna say around that time. You see, I don't know the exact years when he fought whoever he fought. But I think in terms of a technical style standpoint, I think he would just dance circles around Deontay, make him miss, and then inside and then just body, head, uppercut. He was just, and I was watching his highlights again. I'm like, how does this guy 5'9", 5'10",
the angles,
just take these guys out and just hop, peekaboo, just wait, what?
The combinations and the angles, you're 100% right. Deontay wouldn't be able to get him off fast enough to be able to tolerate that.
But then again, the ultimate equalizer.
So who do you got?
I'm going with Tyson. I like the technical standpoint because I think Tyson was crazy enough, whereas even if you were the bigger man, you hurt him. Back then, when he had those demons, he was just I don't give a shit. I'm gonna die in this ring. That's just how he fought, and I think that's a scary Tyson. In terms of just an opponent standing in front of you. Good fighter, both good fighters. I like both. Tyson Fury is not Tyson Fury. Deontay's not the most technical guy, but he can crack.
But who's a better singer than Tyson Fury?
I don't
Afterwards,
know.
yeah, he always says that, huh?
Yeah.
After he wins. And
did you guys take the shot already?
I put it in my glass.
Do you want another one?
No.
You sure? Don't be shy here. It's still 5 o'clock somewhere.
Wow. Did you already take one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a party.
You're late.
I'll take it.
Hey, I got some good training today. I got some good training tomorrow. I'm in a good spot.
We have to wake up early tomorrow morning for
We
your
do and
workout.
train again, yeah.
She's training for Olympic trials.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's hard.
For
Swimming.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How do you swim?
Yeah.
Do you swim?
I can swim. Do I like to swim?
It's
No.
hard.
It's a very exhausting thing to do, and the water is always so cold. That's enough for me not to get in the water.
Yeah, that's the worst part because the master's swimming, it's for the older people. Because I guess 30 years old in swimming years, it's like you're a dinosaur. You're like,
Really?
Yeah. It's sad. Like, I'm so sad because it's hard to, really like find a coach and stuff because you're, technically old, and I was out for like 13 years almost. So, they swim at like 6 a.m. and they're trying to move it to 5:30 a.m. And I'm like, are you serious? 5:30 a.m. to jump in like cold water?
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah. So
Rebecca actually used to swim in high school.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm like, but I never saw her. We actually never talked in high school, which is so crazy. But I would see her all the time.
So how did you?
Yeah. So how did
how'd you
that
connect then?
She used to date my brother's friend, who I don't think he even talks to anymore. And it was like on Facebook. We ended up speaking, and
Yeah.
Cheers to the funk.
Cheers. And she was into fighting. I would send her my amateur videos of me fighting and stuff like that, and she actually took interest, which most females at that age and whatever just really didn't get it. And I was super into it. I'm still am. Like, even on Saturdays, our weekends are like, no, it's fight night, babe. So she understands, but the fact that she was into it is what actually attracted me to her. Otherwise, it would have just been like, oh, she's hot, and next. But
And now you guys are engaged.
and now we're engaged. Yeah, it's cool when you have a partner that's into what you do.
I think I
Yeah.
can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Yeah.
it's good for sure. For sure.
But one thing I do want to ask you, though, because earlier we talked about being in Denver, and that's when you spoke to Corey Sanhagen, or the Schmo, sorry, spoke to different person, right? No,
I don't know
people
how I'm
are shocked when they meet you, and then you're not the
People
Schmo.
think when they meet me for the first time, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and it's enough for me to notice that they expect me to be some sort of person or personality, like always on, or like do this for me, do that for me, like treat you like some sort of object. Do you get that?
Oh, all the time. That's
Weird.
why I was walking through the airport one time, and some guy, as I'm walking by, I think I had my headphones on, and I'm just trucking along, got my little roly-poly, and like just taps me on my shoulder and goes, Aljamain. And I'm like, yo, if that was like Tyson, or if that was like Tyson Fury, like, do you do that? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what makes you feel that comfortable that, like, do I give off a persona that I'm that cool of a guy that you could just, like, hey, we're not friends. I mean, I understand you watch, but say hello. You don't got, like, if you put your hands on me, that's, I don't know, it gets weird. It gets super weird.
I only did that to one person my entire life, one athlete. It was before the Schmo, 2013.
Who was it?
Oh, no.
LeBron James.
LeBron? How did he react? You never told me this.
It was at the Equinox in Beverly Hills. It was when I moved to Los Angeles, right in my early 20s after college. And
Was he nice?
he was working out. He had two people. I was just so shocked because I was working out there before work. I used to spend like a fourth of my paycheck just to go to that gym.
Yeah.
It was a joke, but it was for good reasons.
That's
For
actually-
networking.
Okay, that's worth it.
And I would shower there all the time rather than my apartment. Good shit. But
Save water.
yeah, that too in Los Angeles. So he had two people around him. I was just so shocked I saw him. He was in town. They were playing the Clippers. He was probably in Miami at the time. Don't remember. I was probably in Miami. I saw him like, LeBron. And I just, out of reaction, just to grab his, just tap him like LeBron to turn around. It's just so I could lock eyes with him. Which I did. But I did. But also his two security guys. And they looked at me and they just went like, with that big face. And
Yeah.
no fucking way, man. Don't even try it. all I want to do is just say what's up to LeBron, and that's all I did. It was worth the time.
There's nothing wrong with saying what's up. I have no problem with that.
So that's my one omission.
But that's the only thing was like when people start putting their hands on you, it's like at what point do you kind of cross the line in terms of like personal space and these COVID times? No, I'm joking. But
that is true too. Yeah.
I mean, I'm clearly joking because I'm like the most least concerned person out there probably. But it's just that stuff gets super tricky and a little weird, and it can make you a little bit uncomfortable. But yeah.
Well, what about on social media though?
I don't
the trolls and stuff.
At the end of the day, I'm probably never gonna see you, or if I do see you, you're probably not going to respond the same way or act the same way because it's easier to do that behind a phone than it is to do that in real life. And I'm not saying because you say something, I'm going to jump out and attack you. I'm not like that. But it's like, okay, I'm just going to look at you like, okay, cool. And then what happens after that? Yeah, I sure told him. I saw Aljamain or whoever it was, and I told him how I felt. Gave him a piece of my mind. I'm like, great. You're so cool. Yeah. So that I don't know. I think people make us sometimes more than what we should be, and at the end of the day, we're all humans. Like,
I try to tell that to Helen all the time when she gets down about reading a comment.
Well, I'm way better now, right?
You are a lot better now.
And since I've just been focused more on swimming, and because it's stressful.
It takes away the time.
If anyone is going to take time out of their day to rip on you and who you are as a person, like just throw away all of your hard work and the integrity of you as a human being, just doing the right things and going about your business and trying to get ahead and live your life the best way you can. What the fuck's going on in their life?
Nothing.
To make them feel so miserable enough to take the time to write something negative about someone that they don't know, they have no idea anything about, and that's just trying to make an impact on the world or just trying to do something to better their lives and live life to the fullest. We're all in the same situation. We're all dealt different cards, a different hand.
Yeah.
You just got to play the hand and make no excuses and make the most of what you got. That's it.
Yeah. Man, I've done so much for my alma mater and things like that that I don't even have to like talk about, but it's like to know that you do all those things and then some people try to make you out to be like this terrible person. It's like the most bizarre thing.
Like people from your past?
Kind of, yeah. You know, I'm not really trying to throw nobody under the bus.
Sorry.
But, yes, and even of date, the people who don't know you and kind of try to make you feel like a shitty person. I'm like, you can't make me feel shitty because you don't know anything about me besides what you see. Like, all they see for you is your interviews, right? And you're giving your opinions on social media. So it's like they don't know you. They haven't sat down across from you. They haven't actually had a conversation to know what Helen's about. They don't know what Schmo or Dave's about other than what they see. So it's like they make this whole they have this whole perspective on you and ideology of what they think you are and what they think you stand for. Like people think I'm an asshole or I'm the idiots think that. But the smart people that actually follow me and actually know what I'm about, they're like, oh, I'm under your skin. You're so insecure. I'm like, really? I respond to everybody on social media. Like, you really think...
I have seen that, yeah.
I'm like, you don't think you're getting an award because you got me to respond. Like, there's no reward for getting Aljamain Sterling to respond to you because he responds to just about everybody if he has time. Like, your time just didn't come yet. But if you want to get it in a negative way, sure, I'll entertain you. But don't think it's anything special. Like, you didn't get a rise out of me. You didn't get anything out of me other than a response that you would have gotten anyway. You know, so I think people kind of forget that we're all people, man. Like, exactly. I eat shit the same way you do. Like, there's nothing different.
We all put our pants on one leg at a time.
Yeah. So people get super weird about that, and I never look at myself as a celebrity. Like, even I had an argument with my sister one time actually, and she told me, she's like, "You're not really a celebrity." I was like, this was probably right before the Sandhagen fight, I want to say. And I was so confused. I was like, so what is a celebrity? These people you watch on reality TV, like Real Housewives of Atlanta.
TikTokers are celebrities.
She was like, yeah. I'm like, so let me ask you. So like the basketball players that you watch, that you don't watch, but that you know, are those celebrities? She goes, yes. I'm like, so what is the difference? I'm just trying to figure this out.
What made her say that to you, though?
I don't even know what. I think someone said something to her about me, and he was like, yeah, he's not even like. I think she kind of didn't even realize like what it is in this space because she doesn't follow. So I'm like, I understand that, but you can't say that if you don't understand what that even means.
Well, maybe because she sees you as her
A
brother.
brother, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But then I think it was after the title fight. I think she actually acknowledged it. She goes, "Wow, I didn't realize you." I think she was kind of like, "I didn't realize you were that lit," or something like that. I was like,
lit?
I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, so now all of a sudden I'm lit. I'm like, but I've been doing this for years. You didn't realize, like, I've been here at your disposal the entire time, trying to help in whatever I could do in terms of a positive push or a motivational push or influential push to get her to do the things that she wants to do, you know?
Well, as Conor McGregor would say, etched in stone, you are part of the elite of the elite.
Yeah.
How many people can say they've held bantamweight gold
There's not many guys
in the
Was
world?
it?
Bantamweight gold, 135. How many guys can say that?
Not many.
You
it
in the
Cruz?
UFC, elite of the elite.
Yeah, I think it's Cruz, Faber. No, I'm sorry. Cruz, Dillashaw, Burrell,
Cody
Garbrandt, and Jan,
Peter Yan.
and now myself. It's actually really wild. And that's the UFC, not including WEC, but
Right.
I mean, you got like Eddie
Not
Warren and those
even-
guys. But it's wild. Like, obviously, I didn't win the way I wanted to win, but just even to have the opportunity to fight for a world title, I think is very few and far in between that are able to do that. And that's why I like guys like Glover Teixeira, who fought for a world title, like, which seems almost like a decade ago, against John Jones. Very one-sided, got dominated. And at like age 40, he's fighting for another world title, which is crazy. Like, those are unheard of things. But it's like the human body and the human mind is so impressive that you could do almost anything that you want as long as you truly do believe in what you're doing and you put the proper time in.
Well, you're
I
also
completely agree.
Yeah, definitely. And you also have a wrestling background. And because of the sample size that you have and the example that you've shown, you're one of those types of fighters where people are like, what's a great base for everybody to have when they get into their MMA career? Wrestling. Look at Aljamain Sterling.
100%.
Oh, wait, Henry, too.
Henry
Cejudo.
Cejudo.
Oh,
Chris
Cejudo.
Weidman.
Yeah.
Chris Weidman, who you know
Champion.
well.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying a bantamweight champ.
Yeah. I mean, you got all those guys, DJ, Khabib. And Khabib's not a traditional wrestler, but, Sambo, judo, he's got that. But grappling.
Real quick, are you someone who is pro or against Henry Cejudo fighting Alexander Volkanovski for the 145-pound title?
Pro.
Okay.
I mean, if Holloway and Yair are going to fight at such an awkward time in December, it's like, why not entertain it, and then whoever wins gets to fight the winner of that?
Well,
I mean, it's a money fight for everybody.
I like the logic.
yeah. Who do you think wins, though?
I mean, I would like to think Volkanovski, but he's so much stronger, I would think. But
He
Henry's
weighed
just
like
a
214
tough-
before.
Yeah, Henry's just a tough dude, though.
Not as
So it's
much
like,
as Helen at one point.
217.
you?
Yeah, after
Really?
I quit swimming. I just kept eating family-sized
Just kept
portions.
eating.
Yeah, I love
She's
food.
outdone you and me in a both of our
Yeah,
lifetimes.
that's
brother.
wild.
I love food. But anyway, as you were saying,
What was I saying?
don't scare Astrid.
What was I saying?
He's like,
yeah,
good
you were
job.
talking Henry and Volkanovski, just so much bigger. 214. Okay, anyways, yeah.
Tough dude. I know Henry keeps saying he's an overgrown midget, which is hilarious for him. It's coming out of his mouth is hilarious.
You were at the comedy show.
yeah.
He was roasting
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, it's good, man, and I think it makes for history, for an opportunity, just to show that it's something that's tangible. Not maybe it won't happen, but something that you can strive for, and I think that just keeps for bigger goals. I like the fight in terms of the size, the frame, the statures. Like, why not? I mean, you're probably never going to get that to happen again, where the champ is that short of a dude that can fight a guy at 35 and possibly 25. I mean, I think myself and Brandon Moreno are both taller than him.
So you're doubting Triple C Henry Cejudo?
I never doubt him.
King Triple C.
King Triple C.
No, I don't know. I think it would be a good fight, but I mean, Volkanovski is a stud, and I think we've seen that with the Ortega fight.
I agree.
Yeah,
he got big
that
props
was-
when he escaped those chokes.
Holy crap.
I will say too, we watched that pretty much cage side, second row for that, and it was
Oh my
Volkanovski, for all the people that gave him shit for the Holloway fight, saying
Yeah.
Holloway won this fight or that fight or whatever, you're not the real champ, Holloway. For all that, I think he shut him up with his performance against Ortega. And this is an improved Ortega. An Ortega that wasn't afraid to stand and bang and strike and everything. But those submissions were fucking deep.
Yeah,
He was gurgling.
I thought the fight was over. I'm jumping out of my seat, And not because of like I'm rooting against him, but I'm a Ortega fan, and I'm a fan of both. But I've hung out with Ortega a bunch of times, and he's just a cool ass dude to chill with. And I just would have been so happy for him if he had got that done. But I got to watch Volkanovski work out at the PI when I was helping Merab, and the guy's the champ for a reason. I'm not saying because of situations like that, but just to see how he works, his work ethic, and how shredded he was, his dedication to everything, the details. That's a hard guy to beat. And for him to win, it's weird when people were doubting him because of the Holloway fights. He didn't judge the fight. They gave him the nod. I do think Holloway won the second fight, but the first fight was super close. Maybe the belt shouldn't have changed hands. Maybe it should have been a rematch right then and there. And maybe the second fight, we have a little bit more of a definitive answer. But I don't know. They're just so neck and neck. I think Volkanovski kept getting stronger, and Holloway slowed down a little bit, which gave Volkanovski a chance to win those later rounds, the fourth and the fifth, to retain his title. So people can't knock him for that. It's one of those sports, man. People could be so thankless, and sometimes they don't want to give you credit for the hard work you put in, but I'm pretty sure he shut them up after that one.
The pound-for-pound list got updated. Kamaru Usman, now number 1, pound for pound. How do you see his rematch against Colby going?
I think I got bumped out. I think I really did get bumped
out.
You
got bumped out of the pound for pound?
Yeah. I think Jan is ranked higher than me, and I got bumped out.
And John Jones is still number 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is arguably the GOAT. The asterisk, you just don't know. And I'm not shitting on John. You really just don't know. You can only go by what he tells you. I mean, I don't know what the hell a picogram is. I don't know what that shit even means. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
No comment. So back to Kamaru versus Colby.
Yeah.
Their rematch. Who do you think wins that?
I think it's a great fight. I think Usman being a little bit more active. I think he's sharper. His jab, you saw his striking look really good against Masvidal. I think he's only getting better. There's a couple things he did, like technically, that didn't look right when he was striking with Masvidal. But I think all in all, if you assess the entire display of striking that he displayed, I said displayed twice, but I think all in all, I think he looked very polished and a lot better than what he has from the first time that they fought and the other guys that he's fought. So credit where credit's due, and I think Colby's a tough dude, but I can't see how he wins that fight unless Usman gets tired. I mean, he's not going to outstrike him now. Before his one time to outstrike him was the last fight. The fight got stopped, unfortunately. I thought that it should have gone a little bit longer. I don't think things would have probably changed. I think Usman would end up winning that round, and then Usman wins that fight 3-2. So that was the close opportunity that he had to win the belt. He lost. I'm not sure what his approach is going to be for this time going around. If I'm Usman, I'm looking at the fight, like, what's Colby thinking in order to win this fight this next time in a couple of weeks?
For sure.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you this. This is one thing I wanted to make sure we didn't forget in this podcast, too, is I know you were training for your last fight back in New York. What was going to be your situation for your corner, or what do you plan on doing for your situation for your corner, and how do you plan on splitting up this camp for this last for this fight?
So that whole thing was really weird and super awkward because, and I haven't talked about this with anybody. I've talked about it on my podcast, The Weekly Scraps.
I was going to get that plug in. That was going to be the last
subscribe and like.
And we'll say it again right after this.
I talked about it, and I was like, Matt and I spoke beforehand, and everything was okay. At least from what I gathered from the way we kind of walked away from that, was everything was okay and understood because of everything that was going on with COVID, our gym members having COVID. I had COVID. My housemates all had COVID. There was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that people do not know about. And like I said, we spoke about it. And it was cordial. It was understood. And that's pretty much black and white as it gets. I think what happened was the fight got closer. They start playing the promos. You see the UFC embedded. You start to see this other guy, who's a great dude, by the way, never once asked me to be in the corner, never inserted himself. He said, hey, man, I'm here to help you. Whatever you need, I'm at your disposal. I know you got your team already. And this is his words. I know you got your team already. I just want to be able to assist any way that I can. We love having you here. You're a great asset. You give our guys good work. And pretty much that was it. It's like, if I can help in any such way or form. I was like, okay, cool.
Can we say who that person is?
Eric Nixick.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, over at Extreme Couture. And I've trained at Syndicate MMA as well, but I felt like I've had more of a friendly camaraderie, whereas like I felt more like little. I felt a little more. I don't even know the right word for it. I just felt like Eric and I clicked a little bit more, in terms of like I was like, yeah, this is my guy right here. Like I can hang out with this guy. Like I'm not saying I can't hang out with John, but here in Vegas. But I felt like Eric and I were more on the same wavelength in terms of personality. You know what I mean? If that makes better sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So I think we're both a little crazy in the way we like to say things and do things, because I teach classes, he teaches classes as well, and I think we both kind of have like the same thinking and analogies and shit like that. So I think we're both kind of mesh. So we spoke COVID times. I fought Corey Sandhagen. I had Iaquinta. I had Stephen Lee, my roommate, and I had Dennis Bazookia, my old roommate, in my corner. And it's because COVID times. So Ray didn't come, Matt didn't come, because the guys that were going to come had to quarantine and had to stay in the hotel. This was 2020. So
we remember vividly. We were a part of this.
Yeah. So there was no one I could work out with. You know what I mean? So if I'm going to have to quarantine in the hotel, I need guys I can actually work out with, because it's not like I hit pass to lose weight. I don't roll with Matt, Sarah to lose weight. It's just sizes, practicality. I need guys. And obviously Matt's knees are pretty beaten up right now. He's talked about it.
We came to your Airbnb. You guys were working in a garage.
Yeah. So we did a lot. And then Merab ended up taking a short notice fight and ended up winning that one too. But yeah, so just like going back to that was the situation that we were dealing with, trying to adapt in this weird unknown era where it's like, dude, COVID is here. We don't know what the hell's going to go on, but I need to fight. This is a great opportunity for me to insert myself in the bantamweight division and solidify a number one contender fight. And that's what I did. And all the guys were on board. They were willing to help. And fast forward that, 2021, March, same thing. Jan pulled out of the first fight in December, but it was the same situation. It was Ray was more willing to take the risk, so to speak, in terms of COVID terminology, and Matt was more like hesitant because all the guys at the gym had COVID. And these are his words. All the guys at the gym had COVID and things like that. I had it. I had it in January. I kicked it in like 6 days from positive test to negative test. And he's got kids, and he was more cognizant about it. So I was like, listen, man, I can't be mad at you, but I got to do what I got to do. You know what I mean? So I need to know if you're going to be here with me or not. And I'm hoping I'm making this as digestible for everyone, because at the end of the day, talking about this stuff, I defaulted from talking about it because I didn't want to. I'm not trying to have a pissing contest. I'm not trying to say I was right, you were wrong, because it has nothing to do about that. At the end of the day, I want to salvage the relationship, because I knew we spoke about it. So I'm like, this stuff to me is just like whatever, because I'm like, what am I supposed to say to this right now? I'm supposed to say, no, we spoke about it. Like, that's just stupid. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to ruin a good thing that we have here. This all works. We all have our system, and we all have our place, So that's kind of how I felt about that. And I did what I had to do in terms of looking out for number one and making sure that the guys that were with me were going to be, and obviously don't get me wrong, Matt's been with me for 2014, so 7 years. We've been working together from when I made my UFC debut, and he's been in my corner every single time outside of the last two fights. And it's a weird time that we're in. So it's like, I had it in my head that after this fight that he wasn't going to be in it, but the next one that he would, because that's how we kind of left it off. And I kind of thought that's what was going to happen. And unfortunately, things didn't shake out that way, and things kind of took a left turn. But at the end of the day, there's no animosity. I think we both have love for each other, and I think that's the most important thing. And like I said, I wasn't looking to have a pissing contest. If I had to swallow my pride to make the relationship be salvaged, that's what I was going to do, So that's that whole situation. So I don't know what's going to happen for the next one. I know he said he wasn't going to corner anymore. He cornered Merab.
And you did too.
Yeah, and then he
cornered together.
He cornered Pumi. And it's the same thing. It's like when I'm cornering with Ray and Matt, I'm the third man in there. Not always, but I'm the third man in there who's taking the beatings. Like, I'm the guy that's helping them lose weight. So that's why it's nice to have that body that you could work with, where for me, for this Jan fight, I needed the guys that I needed. And I wanted to make sure I had the guys. And I've had this conversation, like, I kicked it around for so many, like, weeks. It was beating me up. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing something wrong here? Should I feel bad that I'm looking out for, this for the sake of having the best chance to win? Like, I don't know. I couldn't tell if I was doing something wrong. And like I said, I was beating myself up about it. And I think if things were to go back, I don't know if I'd do anything different. Maybe I could have worded it differently or something, because I feel like maybe something got lost in translation that I thought was communicated the right way. So that's the only thing I can really say about that whole situation. And I think everything is good now, at least from where I sit. So I'm happy about that. And at the end of the day, we have a good relationship. I still go to the gym. I still help out. I just taught class there the other day, not too long ago. And yeah, so it's I think it's just something that's just like, we could have probably talked about together, because I think especially after that, after the way I lost, well, the way the fight went, I mean, for me it was kind of like a loss, but whatever. But after the way the fight went, and then to have that kind of happen, I think people really, really started to have it out for me. I was like, "Fuck, man, I didn't even do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong." But people are people,
And that's why we love you, man. You got thick skin. And what do you want to end on?
Will you be there for Al in his return?
Yeah, we spoke about it today, and I told him, I was like, I don't know if I went this in depth the way because I was just finishing up in the hot tub at the PI after working out, and with Moreno and those guys, and I think I'm not sure if I articulated it this way, but I was like,
I love that Moreno's fighting Figgy, by the way. I love how badass of a fighter Moreno is. Yeah. I really do. I respect him. First from Mexico, willing to take on anyone who's the top contender and available at the flyweight division. Yeah. A trilogy fight with Figgy. Kudos to both men. Respect all the way.
It's a good fight. I was a little confused, but I'm like, I get it because there's no one else available, so I get it from that standpoint. I forgot what I was saying before.
Al, will you be there for his fight?
I told him, like, I know I'm here in Vegas for the last few weeks of your fight, and I know how that is because I was in that same position where it's like you almost feel like if the person's not there, like, how do you know if they know the proper things to work on if you guys aren't talking on a daily basis? And I told him, like, if you want me, I'm there. If not, like, don't. I have no hard feelings. Like, I know what it takes to win, and I know in terms of a fighter's mindset. And I think Matt's the same way. He agrees. Like, you want to make sure that people going to battle with you are, like, going to battle with you. And that's the most thing that – I think that's the most important thing that matters. And to answer the question, I should be there for the – I'm going to be there regardless, but I should be there to corner to help out.
That's awesome. Great question. What do you want to end on?
Weekly scraps. Make sure you tune in, subscribe.
I was supposed to do the episode today, but today was so busy, man. I got up so early to do the Q&A for P3 and then all those other, and then to do the editing myself. I'm like, this is a nightmare for an athlete to have to do all this.
Dude, this guy, the champion and the social content creator.
Are you
so much
doing the real estate stuff too?
See, even that, I don't even have time to, like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that I have my license in case my friends.
You keeping the license?
House. Yeah, I renewed it. What was it? Earlier this year, I think I took my test, or at the end of last year, I think I renewed it for another 2 years. We'll see, because maybe I don't even need to use it anymore, and it's like $500 down the drain that maybe I don't need to spend.
Well, if anyone needs to buy a house here.
I would only do referrals. I'm licensed in New York, yeah.
New York, yeah. If anyone wants to buy a home, contact
that
you.
Or Al Iaquinta.
Yeah.
Excellent. Episode 80 of the Schmozone podcast. We are out.